Imagine this. Thousands of years ago, on the banks of the Nile, there lived a civilization that didn't just build pyramids. They built an entire worldview. The sun was their god. The Nile was their lifeline. But the strangest part is this. They were afraid of cats. They hesitated to even touch them. Why? What was so special about this small, quiet animal that people were reportedly punished without trial for killing a cat? Families went into mourning when a cat died and even shaved their eyebrows. Thousands of cats were mummified like humans and placed in temples. Was this just love for animals? Or was there something much deeper? The Egyptians believed nothing was accidental. Every creature had a spirit. Every action had meaning. But the cat, why the cat? Was it just a mouse catcher? Or was it considered a messenger of the gods? Maybe that's why children were warned not to hurt a cat. Joy and celebration stopped in houses where a cat died. Enemies who harmed cats were hated more fiercely. History doesn't stay silent. It tells us, in one battle, cats were driven forward and Egyptian soldiers refused to shoot their arrows. Why? Because for them, the blood of this animal wasn't just blood, it was the blood of a sacred symbol. So now the most important question, did the ancient Egyptians truly worship cats? Or did they worship the unseen power behind them? Maybe we've misunderstood something for centuries. Maybe they didn't simply love cats. Maybe they feared the power they believed lived inside them. In this video, you will discover the mystery of Bastet, the cat-headed goddess, the secrets behind cat mummies, why armies stopped fighting because of cats, and why cats still feel mysterious to us today. But one question remains. The cat walking around our homes today, is it just a pet? Or is it the shadow of an ancient memory we never truly forgot? Thousands of years ago in Egypt, there was a simple truth. The house was not protected by walls. It was protected by a cat. Yes, not by soldiers, not by locks, not by gates. For the Egyptians, the greatest danger was not invading armies. It was the mice and snakes that destroyed grain. Grain meant bread, survival, and sometimes the life of the entire family. And the one who protected this life was a small, silent creature, the cat. They did not see the cat as just a cute animal. They believed there was a connection between the cat and the fate of the household. At dawn, the first sound waking the home was not the cry of a child, but the soft steps of a cat. It walked through every corner of the house, its eyes watching the dark, sensing even the smallest movement. A mouse was just prey for the cat, but for the Egyptian, it was salvation. What would happen without a cat? The granaries would fill with mice, the harvest would be destroyed, hunger would follow. But a single cat could stop all of that. That is why Egyptians believed if there is a cat in the house is protected. If the cat leaves, the house loses its blessing. Cats could walk freely inside homes. No one locked them away. No one chased them out. They were not guests. They were part of the soul of the household. And when a cat died, the family fell silent. The house became still. Eyebrows were shaved, mourning was held. Because they believed the guardian of the house had gone. Sometimes the death of a cat was seen as the turning point in a family's fate. So the cat became a symbol of protection, prosperity, warmth, and home itself. To the ancient Egyptians, it was not just an animal. It was the spirit of the house. In ancient Egypt, people believed the world was not made only of sand and stone. Behind every house, every city, and even every cat, there was a spirit. And one of the most beloved spirits had a name, Bastet, the goddess with the face of a cat. When you look at the statues of Bastet, one thing is clear. The body is that of a graceful woman, but the head is that of a calm, alert cat. Why a cat? For the Egyptians, a cat was never just an animal. In its eyes, they saw two things at the same time, gentleness and danger. A cat is quiet, but when it decides to strike, it moves like lightning. Because of this, Bastet was seen as the warmth of the home, the care of a mother, the protection of children, and also a shield against snakes, illness, and evil spirits. People believed if a cat lives in a house, Bastet is there. If the cat leaves, the protection of Bastet weakens. The cult of Bastet was strongest in the city of Bubastis. Temples there were full of visitors bringing offerings, perfumes, flowers, and small cat statues to thank her for protection. But Bastet was not always gentle. In very old depictions, she did not have the head of a cat, she had the head of a lioness. Back then, she represented war, heat, and destructive power. Over time, her image changed. The wild fury of the lioness became the calm watchfulness of the cat. So Bastet became not just a protector, but a protector who loves while she protects. Egyptians said, when a child sleeps, Bastet guards their dreams. When a mother is ill, Bastet gives her strength. When prosperity enters a home, Bastet has blessed it. That is why cats were treated with such respect. To harm a cat was not only to hurt an animal, it meant disrespecting the symbol of a goddess. For some people today, Bastet is just a myth. But for the ancient Egyptians, she was the unseen mistress of the home. And maybe that is why, even now, when we hear the soft steps of a cat at night or see its eyes glowing in the dark, we feel something ancient awaken inside us, as if it is not just an animal, but the living shadow of Bastet herself. In ancient Egypt, there was a rule that surprised almost everyone who heard it. Killing a cat was considered a crime. This law was not protected only by courts. It was protected by people's hearts and beliefs. Because for an Egyptian, a cat was not just an animal. It was a being connected to the fate of the household. Life in Egypt depended on one thing: grain. If the Nile flooded, there was harvest. If there was harvest, there was life. But protecting that harvest was not easy. Mice, snakes, and pests could destroy stored grain. If the grain was destroyed, hunger followed. And when hunger came, entire villages could disappear. So what was the strongest weapon against this invisible threat? Not swords, not soldiers, not magic. It was the cat. A cat did not live in the house just to walk around. It protected the granary, the family's bread, the family's future. The moment it saw a mouse, it attacked. It kept snakes away from homes. That's why Egyptians said houses were not built only with bricks. They were built with the courage of cats. Over time, the cat became more than a useful animal. It became a sacred symbol. It was connected with the goddess Bastet, the protector of the home, mothers, and children. So touching a cat was not only touching an animal, it meant touching the symbol of a goddess. Because of that, the law was strict. Historians tell a famous story. One day, a foreigner in Egypt accidentally killed a cat. When people heard it, crowds filled the streets. To them, this was not simply the death of an animal. In their eyes, this act was a crime against the blessing of the home, disrespect toward the goddess, a threat to the safety of the community. No one could save the man from the angry crowd. Even the authorities did not interfere, because the law lived inside the people themselves. Why were they so serious? Because Egyptians believed the one who kills a cat kills the fortune of their own house. The one who harms a cat awakens the anger of Bastet. And when a cat died naturally, something else happened. Silence fell over the house. Doors were closed. Celebrations stopped. Family members shaved their eyebrows as a sign of grief and respect. Sometimes the cat was even mummified, carefully wrapped in linen and buried with rituals. They believed its spirit returned to Bastet. These rituals showed one thing: a cat was not just a pet, just a shadow moving in and out of the door. It was a member of the family. Today, some may say, this is exaggerated. But for the ancient Egyptians, this was not exaggeration. It was truth. For them, a cat was the eye that guarded the grain, the spirit that protected children, the symbol that guarded the home, a bridge between humans and the divine. That is why killing a cat was seen not only as breaking the law, it was a crime against life itself. And maybe that is why even today, when we see a cat sleeping quietly on a chair or walking through a house with calm confidence, we feel a strange respect inside us. We don't explain it with law or myth, but somewhere deep down we know. A cat is not just a cat. It is the living memory of a time when an entire civilization bowed its head and said, "Do not harm the cat." In ancient Egypt, it was not only pharaohs who were mummified, People are often surprised when they hear this, but it is true. Cats were mummified as well. Why? The answer goes deeper than simple affection for an animal. For the Egyptians, the cat was the guardian of the house, the protector of stored grain, the calm breath beside a sleeping child. But beyond all of this, there was something even greater. The cat was seen as the symbol of the goddess Bastet. That meant showing respect to a cat was showing respect to the goddess herself. And harming a cat was like touching something sacred. So when a cat died, people did not simply say, "An animal has died." They believed the protective spirit of the house had left its body, and then a special process began. First, the cat was wrapped gently in cloth. Its body was dried using natron salt, the same salt used in human mummification. Perfumed oils and resins were applied to the body. This was not done by random people. It was the work of trained priests, special embalmers. They handled the cat as they would a human, not in haste, but with silence and respect. The body was wrapped strip by strip in linen. Sometimes decorative patterns were woven into the wrappings. Small wooden or golden masks were placed over the head. It was not just wrapping a body, it was an act of belief. Its spirit will now return to Bastet. Mummified cats were often placed in family homes or buried in special necropolises, large cemeteries created only for animals. When archaeologists opened these places, they found thousands of cat mummies. That discovery proved something important. For the ancient Egyptians, a cat was not an ordinary creature. When a family lost a cat, they mourned it as if they had lost one of their own. They shaved their eyebrows in grief, kept silence in the household, and recited prayers. They believed a cat was not just a companion, it was a spirit connected to the destiny of the home. And maybe that is why today, when a cat curls up beside us or walks silently through a room, we still feel a strange sense of respect. We no longer build temples to Bastet, and we no longer perform mummification rituals. But somewhere deep inside, we still know a cat is never just a cat. It is a living reminder of a time when people wrapped them in linen, whispered prayers over them, and sent them on their way as sacred guardians of the soul. History usually remembers wars through swords, shields, and the names of great commanders. But there was a time, in one ancient land, when the fate of a battle was changed by cats. In ancient Egypt, the cat was not just an animal, it was the guardian of the home, the symbol of prosperity, and the sacred sign of the goddess Bastet. To harm a cat was to touch something holy. This respect did not stay inside homes. It followed Egyptians even onto the battlefield. The clash with Persia. A story is told about a Persian commander who understood something very important. The Egyptians will not harm a cat, so he gave an unusual order: paint images of cats on shields and release real cats toward the Egyptian lines. When the armies faced each other, Egyptian archers lifted their bows and then froze. Running between the soldiers were not only enemies, but cats. To shoot an arrow now meant risking harm to them. For the Egyptians, that was not simply breaking a rule. It was disrespecting a goddess. It was inviting disaster onto their own cities and families. A single moment of hesitation changed the fate of the battle. For the first time, it was not weapons that won. It was belief. Why were cats so powerful in their minds? Because a cat protected the house, saved grain from mice, drove snakes away, and symbolized protection and blessing. Killing a cat was a crime. Protecting a cat was a duty. So on the battlefield, a soldier sometimes faced two choices: strike the enemy or avoid harming the cat. Many chose the second. In their eyes, the blood of a cat was not merely the blood of an animal. It was the blood of a sacred symbol. Stronger than war, Egyptians believed. The army that harmed cats would lose fortune. The city that injured them would lose its blessing. So cats sometimes became literal shields in war. Swords stopped, arrows lowered, soldiers hesitated. This revealed a deeper truth. Sometimes wars are not won by armies, but by what people believe. Ending today, when we talk about war, we speak of tanks, planes, and missiles. But thousands of years ago, on dusty desert ground, the decision of a battle was made by a cat. And maybe that is why, even now, a cat walks with a calm, proud silence. as if it is still whispering, "I once stopped armies. Why would you not respect me, human?" Today, many people say the ancient Egyptians worshipped cats. But is that really true? Let's slowly lift the veil on this question. What did worship really mean? First, an important thought. Is caring, loving, and worshiping the same thing? The Egyptians kept cats in their homes, protected them, punished those who killed them, even mummified them. So we quickly assume, then they worshiped them. But in the Egyptian worldview, worship was not directed simply at an animal. Behind everything, they believed there was a spiritual power. They did not worship the cat itself. They respected the power and protection the cat represented. The cat, not a god, but a symbol. Cats were the symbol of the goddess Bastet, the guardian of the home, mothers, children, joy, and prosperity. So harming a cat meant breaking the symbol of the goddess, touching the fate of the household, damaging the blessing of the home. In other words, cat does not equal God, cat equals sign of the divine. That is a very big difference. Why were cats so important? At the center of Egyptian life was grain. Without grain, hunger spread, disease followed, entire villages disappeared. And who protected the grain? The cat. It killed mice, kept snakes away, defended the granary. In simple terms, cat equals protector of life. How could such an animal not be respected? For them, a cat was not just a cute pet. It was the reason a family survived. Then why were cats mummified? A common question, if the cat was not a god, why mummify it? The answer is simple: respect, gratitude, honor toward a sacred symbol. They believed when a cat died, its spirit returned to Bastet. Mummification was a way of saying, we did not forget you. You protected our home. May your journey be blessed. Why was killing a cat punished? Because killing a cat was seen as cutting off blessing, insulting the goddess, threatening the safety of society. And not only for religious reasons. There was also a practical one. No cats equals no protection for grain. No grain equals no life, so the law was strict. The big answer. Now we return to the main question. Did the ancient Egyptians really worship cats? The full answer, they did not pray to cats. They saw the cat as a symbol of the divine. They considered it sacred, but the cat itself was not the god. Through the cat they saw protection, blessing, motherly care, warmth of the home. Their worship was not directed at the cat. It was directed at the meaning behind the cat. Final thought. Question to the listener. Now the question is for you. Why do we still love cats today? Because they are cute? Or because some ancient memory still lives inside us? Maybe every time we look into a cat's eyes, the old story of Bastet briefly awakens, and without realizing it, we whisper to ourselves, don't harm it. It is the soul of the home.